Today I'm going to show you how to use V-flats and a bare bulb to create a beautiful slice of light. Hey everybody, Lindsay Adler here, and I love controlled lighting, especially tight slices of light. Now there are specialty modifiers out there that allow you to achieve this control, but if you understand qualities of light and flagging light, you can do so with nothing more than just a bare bulb and 2 V-flats. So that is what I'm going to demonstrate for you today. Now, in order to achieve this technique where you're going to get that really beautiful full-length slice of light, you need to make sure that your main light source is a super hard light source. Now, how do you achieve that? Well, one of the rules of lighting is about the relative size and distance of your light source. Now, I actually have a link in the description below with a video that's all about this rule of lighting, but fundamentally keep this in mind. If you want a soft light source, you need to have a big modifier and bring it nice and close to your subject. And conversely, if you want a hard light source, you want a small modifier and you want to move it far away from your subject. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this setup. I'm going to be using a ProPhoto D2 with no modifier on it at all and back it up far from my subject. That's going to give me really, really hard light. Now, what's important about this hard light is that it has very crisp and defined shadows. If you look at my subject, you can see her shadow on the background, and it has relatively defined edges. This is going to be essential to achieve this effect. Now let's talk about adding the slices of light. Fundamentally, what we need to do is take away some of the light in this scene. I'm photographing on a Savage Universal super white background, and I need to add flags. Add something to block the light on either side of my subject. Now, a flag is a term for something that blocks the light. It can be anything. But for our set today, we're going to use V-flats. So let me introduce the first V-flat and show you what it does to the scene. Fundamentally, because we have hard light and we're putting it in between the light and the subject and that background, it's going to cast a shadow, as simple as that. But if you tried this same technique with an umbrella or a soft light source, you wouldn't see the effect at all. Basically, the shot would just get a little darker and you wouldn't have those defined edges. So you need the V-flat and the hard light. So let me add that first V-flat into the scene. So you can see that I've subtracted or I've removed, I've blocked the light off of the left-hand side of the frame. But the whole point was to have a slice of light. So that's why I do need a second V-flat. And so let me go add that second one in. And basically it's just going to create this little tunnel, this little slice of light. And it's going to give the feel almost like light coming in through a doorway. All right, second V-flat. So this is getting me closer to the effect that I want to achieve. But I actually have the subject's shadow in the shot as part of the composition. I did this on purpose. But right now I have my light at a high angle. And because the light is a little bit higher, it's casting the shadow downward, which is making it a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter in the scene. And I think conceptually, I want the shadow to be large. I want it to actually be part of the interest in the shot, because as she moves around and poses, that shadow is going to actually pick up her shape. So I want it to be interesting. I want it to be large, part of the composition. So how do I do that? Well, there's a couple things that I can do. I can change her distance from the background. That changes the size of the shadow, but I can also change the angle of my light. Now, one of the things that you'll often learn is that your light source usually needs to be eye level or higher, right? Because that's what's going to be most flattering to your subject. But rules are meant to be broken. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to flip this light around, and it is currently on a C-stand arm. We're going to flip it around and have it really low to the ground. So it's going to be uplight. Now, uplight is usually associated with monster light, but in this case, it's serving a purpose, and I'm going to use this to create a dramatic shadow. So as we change the angle of that light, her shadow behind her is going to get much larger and much more apparent in the shot. So let's switch the angle of the light. Now I want to make a quick recommendation. You can see here that I am using full-size V-flats. You buy them as individual flats, you put them together, but they're quite large. So I actually want to recommend a company called VFlat World. What's great about these V-flats is that they are a little bit shorter, which is great if you are working in a space with a lower ceiling, but also they're collapsible and they're very, very portable. So what's great is you can kind of just pop them up and they will fit in a car or in a small living room, and I use these all the time. So if you're looking for a V-flat to recreate this setup, definitely check them out. All right, so we've changed the angle of the light, and look how much more dramatic that shadow is. So let's look at what we have so far. So far, we've got our bare bulb far away from the subject, flipped down to a low angle to make that dramatic up shadow. Then we have one V-flat from either side to create that slice of light. So what's missing? Well, the missing part, of course, is the pose or the movement and the energy, because that's what's going to really sell the shot and make the most interesting photograph. All right, to capture this image, I'm going to be shooting with the Canon R5 and the Canon RF 24-105 lens. Now, I am going to likely be shooting at slightly wider focal lengths, 50, maybe even a little wider than that, so that I can capture the entire slice of light and her shadow, because that's what makes it interesting. But no problem, if I want to come in for a tighter beauty shot, I can certainly do that and shoot at the longer focal length, which is why I like the versatility of this lens. Okay, so we have all the perfect ingredients. Let's get that shot. Looking at these shots, I love how dramatic they are and how much control of light there is, and I love the amazing posing of my subject. When you look at this shot though, I think it looks quite advanced. I think it looks complicated. And what's amazing about it is that it was achieved with nothing more than a single bare bulb strobe and 2 V-flats. Now, if you want to learn more about shooting and creating incredible images with just one light, you should check out my course, One Light Artistry. I have a video tutorial as well as a lighting recipe guide, and I show you that when you really understand lighting and all the control available to you, you can create incredible shots with a huge range, even if it is only with one strobe. Now, if you want to see the gear used in the making of these images, be sure to check out the links in the description below, and of course visit Adorama.com. And guys, if you like this video, be sure to give me some love, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.